Right. So, good morning, friends. Today we will discuss the mid one question paper. Then we will go to our topic, actual topic, artificial neural networks. Right. So, actually, after completion of the mid exam, few students have posted messages to me asking clarifications on few questions. So that was great. It was interesting, and I thought, okay, instead of sharing with few students, let me share with everyone. So I thought of having a question paper discussion of mid one, right? So I have shared my screen, and we will be looking at the questions. So we'll be looking at the question paper right now. All right. So we will conduct re-exam for people who have missed and for the people who have uh, unable to submit due to some technical issues. I think in machine learning, 261 students have submitted. Maybe two or three students, 264 is our strength. So three students did not submit. We will see whether to reconduct or not. But in remaining subjects, there are some quite a good number of absentees, like 20, 20, 25, like that. So exams will be reconducted. So please make use of this opportunity, right? And please try to attempt. If you have not attempted, please try to attempt. So coming to the questions, right? Let me start with the first one. Learning from examples or training data and finding the target function which can work for new data is called as inductive learning. Friends, even concept learning is also correct, right? So concept learning and inductive learning, what we have done is we have given one mark, means marks for both answers. So if you have opted concept learning or inductive learning, in both cases we have given the marks, right? So what is the difference between concept learning and inductive learning? Means in concept learning definition, this last sentence will not come, like learning from examples or training data is concept learning, right? So learning from training data and generating a target function or creating a target function which will work on the new data which you have not seen, then it is called as inductive learning. So more or less, inductive learning is, again, it finds the roots in concept learning only. So for that statement, learning from examples and finding a target function which can work for new data, both concept learning and inductive learning, we have given marks. And to be more precise, inductive learning is more appropriate. Then second question, a mathematical function which establishes relationship between output and input is called as hypothesis, right? So what is a hypothesis? What we have done in FindS algorithm, candidate elimination algorithm, we came up with a hypothesis in which we have represented, like, okay, if these are the combinations of inputs, so and so will be the output, like whether a person will go for playing tennis or not. So we have generated some hypothesis, means it can be applied on new data, and that hypothesis can predict, can do prediction on the new data, right? So if we try to establish the relationship between output and input, right? So we have in our examples, like playing tennis, going for a water sport or not, going for a movie or not. In all those examples, we had some training data, right? Four records or 10 records, 16 records, 12 records, like that. So in training data, you have both input as well as output. So what are the conditions in which this fellow went for playing a water sport? In what conditions he did not go for playing a water sport? So like that we have input as well as output in our sample data. So by looking at those inputs and outputs, if we can connect them, or if we can identify the relationship between input and output using a mathematical function, then it is called as hypothesis, right? Okay, FindS algorithm is used to find most specific hypothesis. FindS algorithm is used to find most specific hypothesis. In fact, that yes signifies specific hypothesis only. So identify, next question, identify the concept learning techniques. FindS is a concept learning technique, candidate elimination. Decision tree is also a concept learning technique. Even in decision tree, what we are doing, we have some sample data, training data. From training data, we are constructing a decision tree, and that decision tree will help us in predicting the outcome, whether this fellow will go for playing tennis or not. For new data also, the decision tree will help us in doing predictions. So decision tree is also part of concept learning only, or inductive learning, you can say. So please remember, if you get a question, explain inductive learning techniques or concept learning techniques, you are going to talk about all these three techniques briefly, right? So the answer will be all of the above, right? So we'll move on. Identify the odd one out. Sorting of numbers. Find roots of quadratic equation. Finding factorial of a number. These are all problems for which there exists a fixed algorithm, right? They are all deterministic problems. Object detection. I'll give you a photograph and I'll say whether find whether there is a cat in this photo or not. Right? Identifying something, detecting something. Right? This is not a deterministic problem. It is non-deterministic problem. So if you remember on day one, we have discussed how this machine learning has actually evolved. In that session, we talked about deterministic and non-deterministic problems. So friends, if you identify the odd one here, sorting of numbers, finding roots of quadratic equation, finding factorial of a number, they all come under deterministic problems. Only object detection comes under non-deterministic. So object detection is the odd one. So you have to identify that. So answer is object detection. High variance may lead to what? High variance may lead to overfitting of the model. Overfitting. This underfitting, overfitting is very important concept, and we have spent enough time on understanding underfitting and overfitting. Underfitting means the model was too simple. It was not trained enough. So it was too simple, and what happened is when the model is too simple, it will give you high training error as well as high testing error. Means on training data also the error will be more, and on testing data also the error will be more. Whereas overfitting means the model will perform well on training data, means the model is basically too complex and it performs well on training data and does not do well on test data. So that is overfitting. High variance may lead to overfitting. Option B is the answer. Identify the incorrect statement. This is the formula for entropy which we have used in decision tree. So first statement is asking you to identify incorrect statement, right? So entropy is used to find the homogeneity among training examples. Yes, it is true. So it is correct statement. P and N in the formula are positive and negative examples. Yes, it is correct statement only. Entropy always lie between -1 and +1. Entropy always lie between -1 and +1. Is it so? Entropy. Do you remember entropy's range? Entropy's range. Entropy always lie between 0 and 1. Entropy always lie between 0 and 1. Right, people are responding. So entropy always lie between 0 and 1. So that is incorrect statement. And if you observe remaining two, they are also correct statements. So the answer is option 3. Fourth statement, if training data contains all data of similar class, means if all examples in your training data are, let us say, positive examples, then entropy will be 0. If all examples are negative examples also, entropy will be 0. So if your training data contains all data items or all records of same class, then the entropy will be 0. If the training data contains equal number of positive and negative examples, then the entropy will be 1. So all are correct except third one. Remaining 4 are correct. Fine. Next. Entropy of S minus, below formula represents what? Minus sigma of. So friends, what is this? This is average information entropy for every single attribute. If you recollect, outlook was one of the attribute. So in Outlook, we had three possible values. What were the three possible values? Sunny, overcast, and rainy. So for have added them, we have performed a sigma operation, and whatever value we got, we have subtracted from our entropy of the entire model or entire data set, entropy of S. So this formula represents the average information entropy, right? Fine. So is it average information entropy? This one is gain. Huh? What is the formula for information gain? So this is subtraction is done. Sorry, this is information gain of attribute A. So after subtraction, whatever is there on the right hand side, that formula is average information entropy. When you calculate average information entropy and subtract it from entropy of S, you will get information gain. So here, information gain of which attribute? Attribute A. So information gain of attribute A is the answer. How many decision trees can be generated for a given training data set? So please observe here. I gave you an example of one decision tree which we have seen, like playing tennis was the outcome. So when we have constructed the decision tree, our first task was to find which attribute will become the root element. So the attribute which has got more the maximum entropy value, or sorry, gain value, the attribute which has got maximum information gain, that attribute will become the root node. So in our example, Outlook attribute got the maximum information gain. So Outlook attribute was made the root node. But what happens if both attributes, out of let us say 3 or 4 attributes, if 2 attributes get the same information gain, then we can construct 2 trees with 2 different root nodes. So friends, is there any possibility of getting multiple decision trees? Means yes, there is a possibility, right? So how many? One or many? One or many? And it does not depend on number of attributes. First of all, please try to understand. It is given only to confuse you. So how many decision trees can be generated for a given training data set? Simply one or many. It does not depend on number of attributes also. It all depends on how information gain was calculated. What is the information gain? Whether if 2 attributes incidentally, if it is a coincidence, like if 2 attributes got the same information gain, then I can go for two trees with 2 different root nodes, right? So it does not depend on number of attributes. So second option was intentionally given to confuse you. Answer is very simple, one or many. Now next question. Yeah. If there are 6 attributes in the data set which will decide the final outcome, and if 5 attributes can take 2 different values, 1 attribute can take 3 different values, then what will be the total number of possible records in the data set? So 3 into, so 6 attributes we have, 1 attribute will take 3 as the 3 possible values. So 3 into remaining 5 attributes will take 2 different possible values. So it will be 3 into 2 into 2 into 2 into 2 into 2 means 2 power 5, right? 5 attributes. So 2 power 5 into 3, which is 96. So friends, if you remember this example, this particular question was taken from the example of our what we say enjoying water sport, the example which we have seen in candidate elimination algorithm. In that, the final outcome variable was enjoying water sport. So our friend will enjoy water sport, that, and it depends on 6 different parameters, right? So in those 6 different parameters, the first parameter was taking 3 different possible values. Remaining 5 parameters can take 2 different possible values. So if I multiply them, 3 into 2 into 2 into 2, like that, I'll be getting 96. Means total number of records which we get in the data set should be 96. Now We will move on. Similar question will come again. Now this picture, if you remember, this I have shown you in the discussion of the decision tree topic, right? This I have shown from the textbook only, right? So this represents overfitting. See here, overfitting. On training data, it is doing well. Accuracy on training data, this normal line represents accuracy on training data, which is increasing. But whereas on test data, the dotted line is test data, accuracy is decreasing after a particular point. So if this happens, it happens only in overfitting, my dear friends. Right? If you remember, while discussing issues in decision tree learning, this diagram was shown, right, in our class. From the textbook only, I have opened the soft copy of the textbook. I have shown this to you. So the answer is this one represents overfitting. Overfitting, right? What could be the possible cause for overfitting in decision trees? Can anybody answer this? There is some doubt. Sir, if entropy is okay. No. B5, it is not entropy of S comma A. In the formula, it will be mentioned as entropy of S only. But how do I know that it is information gain of attribute A means I need to look at this one. Please observe this. 1 second. So B5 has got a question. Let me clear that and I'll come back to what is the possible cause for overfitting. That I'll come back. 1 second. Yeah. So B5, please observe this. Here, entropy of S is the value from where I am going to subtract average information entropy. So before minus symbol, whatever I have on my LHS is entropy of S, means entropy of the entire data set. So here we will not write S comma A. If you observe our notes and previous example also, here we will not write S comma A. Entropy of S represents entropy of entire data set. Now this sigma represents what? Right, average information entropy. Now here if you observe, sigma small v is a subset of capital V. V means values, right? Values of which attribute? See here, see the cursor. V belongs to values of A. Values of A. So same thing I will calculate for A, B, C, D, like that. For every attribute I'll calculate. So here if you observe, this A will tell me I am calculating average information entropy for attribute A, right? And average information entropy, whatever we are calculating, is subtracted from overall entropy. When I subtract it from overall entropy, I will get information gain of A. Is it fine? B5, did I address you? Yeah. One more question. Sir, it is guaranteed that there will be at least one decision tree for given data set. Yeah, obviously. See, what is the purpose of our construction of decision tree? We want to come up with some prediction, right? Whether what we say, whether the person will go for playing tennis or not, whether a person will go for playing a what we say, enjoying a water sport or not, going for a movie or not. In all these cases, if you observe, we are supposed to make some classification, yes or no, true or false, he will go or he will not go, like that. So what will happen is definitely we will get a decision tree. Now in the worst case, what will happen is, suppose it was a very good question. I don't know who has asked it. It's a good question. Who is this? Who asked it? 572. 572, it's a really good question. Please everyone observe this. The question is, sir, it is guaranteed that there will be at least one decision tree for given data set. Yes, definitely one decision tree at least we should get, because suppose what can happen with my data set? I can have a data set with combination of positive and negative values, right, for which I will definitely get a decision tree. Or I can have a data set with all positive examples only. In that case, what will happen? In my decision tree, I will have some root node, and immediately in the next level, I will find all leaf nodes, and in all leaf nodes, it will be yes, yes, yes. Means in any case, the outcome will be yes, right? So like that, I may get a very, very small decision tree with height 1, with height 1. Similarly, if I have all negative examples with me, then again I'll get a decision tree with height 1, very small decision tree. So in any case, I'll get the decision tree. But an important point, my dear, you have asked an excellent question. But the important point is, for example, if you recollect the data set which we have used, I'll try to show the data set also. Yeah, current slide, right? So 572, your question was really good. I appreciate you. Now look at the data set. So suppose if you give me a data set, in this data set I have 9 positive examples and 6 negative examples out of 15 or 14 records. 9 and 5, right? 9 positive examples, 5 negative examples. So I get some fair idea that, okay, under these conditions, this fellow will go for playing tennis. Under these conditions, he may not go. Like that, I get some idea and I can construct a decision tree. Now, friends, if you observe, suppose the data set which was given to me, let us say same data set was given to me, but in this data set there are only 10 records. I have only 10 records, and all 10 records for output variable or outcome, if you see, let us say in all 10 records the outcome is yes, 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 yes. Means he will go for playing tennis in all these 10 conditions. So what will happen if all 10 records contains positive examples? I have a data set with 10 records and all 10 records contains positive examples only. So what will happen? Can I construct a decision tree? Can I construct a decision tree? Uh, Please respond. This is a good question and very, very interactive session it is. So I'm trying to answer your question. Who is this? 572, right? So remaining students can also respond. It's a good question. So let us say yes sir, we can construct. Yeah. So I have a data set with only 10 records, and if all 10 records are showing me outcome value as yes, yes, yes. In this case, I can construct the decision tree, no doubt, but please observe, I don't know that there is one more possible outcome variable, outcome value called as no. But the point, by looking at the data set, I find only yes, yes, yes in the outcome variable. It means what? I don't even know that there is some other possible outcome called as no. So what will happen? What will happen? I'll construct a decision tree, and in my decision tree, I will not find, see, we have yes, no, yes, no. In my new decision tree, I will not find a leaf node called as no. So outcome variable will become the leaf node, my dear. So in this data node, all possible cases, both yes and no are present. So even in my decision tree, I got yes and no leaf nodes. Suppose in the data set, if I get all 10, suppose there are only 10 records, and all 10 records output is yes, yes, yes. Means all 10 cases are yes only, positive outcomes. So what will happen now, as a user or as a programmer who is constructing the machine learning model, I don't know that there is another possible option called as no. So I'm not aware of all possible options, because in the data set I'm seeing only one outcome called as yes. In that case, what will happen? Since all my data set, all my records in the data set contain yes, yes, yes only, my decision tree will also contain leaf node yes only. Means the other leaf node called as no will not come in my decision tree, because it was not there in my training data. In such case, what will happen is my model will become very, very simple. My model has got less amount of training. My model was never shown that playing tennis, that outcome can be no also. Under certain conditions, this fellow may not go for playing tennis. That kind of example was not given to me. So I really don't know when this fellow will not go for playing tennis. Means my knowledge which was given from these 10 records is incomplete. Means the model is incomplete. Incomplete means the model is simple. Model is simple means obviously it leads to underfitting. Means it will not work on properly on training data. It will not even work properly on test data. So coming back to the point, is it guaranteed like we can get a decision tree? Yeah. If the in any case the decision tree can be constructed, but if you have all positive examples or all negative examples, then you will get a very small decision tree which will be incomplete, and the leaf nodes will not reflect all possible outcomes. Then it leads to underfitting. It may lead to underfitting. It will definitely lead to underfitting, but the tree can be constructed. H naught. The value will be 0, sir. No, my dear, please come out of that, what we say, digital logic design, which you have studied in second year, like true, false, 1, 0. No, please don't, what you say, don't try to read, what we say, relate it to the concept of our ones and zeros. Here it is a data set. Here it is data set. So friends, if suppose in this example, if all values are yes, 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 it means that out of 14 records, if all 14 values are yes, what I will learn is, what I am going to learn, or what my machine learning model will learn is, under what circumstances the answer is yes. That is what I am going to learn. But I am not aware of the fact that there is another possibility called as no. So please don't assume that these 14 records are showing yes. It doesn't mean that in remaining cases it will be no. So please don't misunderstand the statement. It is very clear. In my training data, you will whatever outcome variables you show, values you show, suppose yes, no are there. If you show only yes values, I will learn that okay, under these conditions the output will be yes. And I don't know that there is a possibility of no, because friends, all examples will not have only two possible outcomes. All examples need not have two possible outcomes. Just imagine, friends, instead of this playing tennis data set, suppose I have my employee data set. Suppose I'm running a very big company with 1 lakh employees, and what I want to do is I want to apply a machine learning model to decide, based on certain parameters, I want to decide how much percentage of salary hike I should give. Got the point? Now what is the salary hike percentage? Let us say it will start from 10% and it will end at 50%. Means one employee may get 10% hike, may get 20% hike, may get 30% hike, or 40% hike, or 50% hike. So what are the possible values? 5 possible values are there. Now what happened? Someone gave me a training data. In that training data, let us assume there are, let us say, 20 records. In 20 records, some of the employees were getting 10% hike based on certain parameters. Let us say there are 5 or 6 parameters. and based on the parameters, 5 employees were getting 10%, some employees have got 20%, some employees have got 30%, some employees have got 40%. So friends, what happened is you gave me 20 records for training data. In 20 records, I found only 4 different possible outcomes. What is that? Some people got 10% hike, some people got 20% hike, some people got 30% hike, some people got 40% hike. So what my machine learning model will think? My model will think that, oh, these are the 4 possible outcomes. So on my new data also, I should try to apply the logic, I should apply my knowledge, and I should try to predict what should be the employee's salary hike, whether it is 10, 20, 30 or 40. Now my machine learning model was not aware that there is one more possible option, like an employee can get 50% hike also. My model is not aware of it. It is not human being, it's a machine learning model. So what happened in the training data, one option was not shown. 50%, that example of training data, does not contain the example or a sample record in which one employee was drawing 50% hike. So in my training data of 20 records, I never found 50% hike. So what will happen? My machine learning model will not learn that there is another possible option called as 50%. So what will happen? It will lead to underfitting. So in any case, the tree can be constructed, but if enough training data is not there, then the tree can be incomplete, right? Then of course it will lead to underfitting also. So H0, did I address your point? If all ones are shown, it doesn't mean that rest is 0. So if you give all records where outcome is 1, you are telling your model that, okay, possible outcomes are 1. Right? So model is not aware that there is another possibility called as 0. Fine. That's great. People are interacting with me. I'm very, very happy. Right. So we'll move on. Yeah, what could be the possible reason for overfitting in decision trees? Overfitting means what? High training, it will give accurate results on training data, but it will fail on test data. Means accuracy will be very, very low on test data. So it will happen when you are dealing with noisy data. Noisy data means what? Errors in training data. So possible cause for overfitting in decision tree is when you have some errors in training data, then definitely your machine learning model, or here the model is decision tree, right? So if there are some errors in training data, our decision tree may reflect overfitting, or it may lead to overfitting. So that, please remember this point. So noisy data can lead to overfitting. High training error and high test error. Just now I told you, high training error and high test error means underfitting. Underfitting. Now this is the question. People were asking me this. So if there are 6 attributes in the data set which will decide the final outcome, and if 5 attributes can take 2 different values, 1 attribute can take 3 different values. So same as previous question. So it will be 3 into 2 power 5, 96. But then the question continues. He says, then what will be the total number of possible records in the data set by considering wild card? Wild card means question mark is the wild card, friends. In our candidate elimination algorithm, we have used question mark. Question mark means what? Anything is allowed, any value is allowed, whether it is sunny, cloudy or rainy. If anything is allowed, we will write question mark. So wild card means anything is allowed. Now, so observe the last line. Then what will be the total number of possible records in the data set by considering wild card and one empty set? Right? In our childhood, maybe in your 10th class, 9th class, you might have studied set theory, right? So set theory means one basic fundamental point is in a set, if there are, let us say in a set there are 5 elements, what we will do, what is the size of the set means we will also include a empty set in it. So 5 plus empty set, total 6 is the size. I hope you remember that. Empty set will also be counted. So I am asking you to count empty set also. Now wild card should be considered. So what will happen? Now for every attribute, one more parameter called as, one more value called as question mark is added. So out of 6 attributes, one attribute was taking 3 different values. No, now it will take 4 different values. Question mark is also one more possible value. Similarly, for remaining 5 attributes which were taking 2 possible values, question mark is also added, so they will become 3 possible values. So previously what we have done, 3 into 2 into 2 into 2 into 2, like that we have done the multiplication. Now what we have to do is we have to multiply it something like this. I am typing it in the chat box. So one attribute was taking 3 different values. So when I add question mark to it, it will become 4 different values. So 4 into remaining 5 attributes were taking 2 different values. Now they will become 3 different values. So 4 into 3 into 3 into 3 into 3. So 3 power 5 into 4, which is 972. And I am asking you to add empty set also plus 1. So it will be 973. It will be 973. Fine. So is it clear? 973. The answer is clear. Please respond. Nine 973. Fine. Is it clear? Shall we move on? Yeah. Now this is also an important question. So friends, whatever mid paper I have prepared, if you observe, very cautiously this paper was prepared. So unless you attend the classes, it will be difficult for you to understand the paper also. So these kind of questions will be asked in interviews, right? So if someone says, if you claim that yes, I know machine learning, I've studied machine learning, then these kind of questions can be asked. How many different values attribute outlook can take? How many different values outlook attribute can take? So what is the answer? What is the answer? How many different values outlook attribute can take? 3 values. J0, can you explain once again? Yeah. Regarding this 973, right? 973, right? Yeah, very simple, J0. What we are doing is, it is like a what we say truth table. Generally, how we will fill truth tables. I am trying to calculate what are the possible combinations I'll get, how many records I'll get in my data set. So if there are 6 parameters, and each parameter in those 6 parameters, what happened is parameter in those 6 parameters, parameter 1 was taking 3 different values. Like outlook is the parameter. It can take sunny, cloudy or rainy, 3 different values. So possible values are 3 for parameter 1 into remaining 5 parameters we have, they can take only 2 different possible values. 2 different possible values only. So 3 into 2 into 2 into 2 into 2. How many times? 5 times I should write. So 5 parameters will be taking 2 possible values. So 2 into 2 into 2 into 2, like that, 2 power 5. And sixth parameter will take 3 different values. So when I multiply them, I will get 96. Means 96 records I will get. Now what was the question? The question says also consider wild card. Wild card means question mark. Question mark is another possible value for all parameters. Means in my 6 parameters, first parameter was taking 3 possible values. Now question mark is also considered, so it will become 4 possible values. Remaining 5 parameters, they were taking 2 different values, right? If you observe the data set, see here, sunny, overcast, rainy. See, 3 different values are there for outlook. Whereas for temperature, there are only 2 values, right? No, this is our play tennis example. But if you observe our candidate elimination algorithm, I'll try to show that data set also. Candidate elimination. Yeah, I'll try to show you. See here, see this one, J0. So we had 6 parameters here: 1, 2, sky, air temperature, humidity, wind, water, forecast. Out of these 6 parameters, sky can take 3 different values, either sunny, cloudy, or rainy. Whereas air temperature can be either warm or cold. That's all, only 2 possible values. Similarly, humidity, wind, water, and forecast will also take only 2 possible values. But the point, now coming back to this one, now what was the question? He is saying also consider question mark. Question mark means any value is allowed. So what I will do, my first parameter which was taking 3 values, now along with question mark it will take 4 values now. Now remaining 5 parameters which were taking 2 values, they will take 3 values now. So 3 into 3 into 3 into, like that, 3 power 5 into 4, which will become 972. Now since it is a set of records, empty set should also be counted, because he is asking you to count empty set. It will become 972 plus 1, which is 973. So J0, is it clear for you? Right, done. So 572 has answered our question. The next question was, by looking at the tree, you should tell how many different values outlook attribute can take. So friends, simple. Outlook is a node now. Node. Of course, it's a root node. So whether it is root node or any other node, how many different values a node, an attribute will take, you can answer this question by looking at the number of children of that node. So outlook is the attribute. How many children output has got? 3 children: sunny, overcast, rain. So just how many different values means number of children you have to count, and the answer is 3. Right, 572 has answered it. Number of classes in the given tree are. Classes means, friends, possible outcomes. What are the possible outcomes in this decision tree? Number of classes means you have to count how many different leaf nodes you have. See here, this yes is a leaf node, right? If it is not kept in a rectangle, it's a leaf node. So yes is a leaf node. How many other leaf nodes I have? No is a leaf node. Yes again. No. Yes. Apart from yes and no, do I find any other leaf node? No, I did not find any other leaf node. So how many different types of leaf nodes are there? That is nothing but the number of classes or number of possible outcomes in the tree. So here yes and no, only 2 different leaf nodes I have. So the number of classes are 2. Answer is 2. Right? So is it clear to everyone? F4 says it is 3. Why it is 3 F4? Classes means, let us wait, he is typing some. Before question, acha, previous question, so it is 3, right. So I think the question paper is clear to everyone. We thought of continuing artificial neural networks, but somehow entire time was spent on question paper. I did not expect these many questions, and couple of questions were really good. I was very happy today. So tomorrow we will continue with perceptron concept, and perceptron learning algorithm we will discuss tomorrow, right? So thank you, friends. If you have any other doubts, you can ask. Otherwise, we will wind up. So is it clear? The question paper is clear to everyone? Yes, sir. Okay. Right. So in tomorrow's class, we will talk about what are the demerits of MP neuron, and we will discuss important concepts of perceptron, then followed by perceptron learning algorithm. Right. So thank you, friends.